Yeah, I broke the shit out of WildStar. I really enjoyed it. I was actually part of an endgame raiding guild. I got all the way to maximum level in a single zone, brushed the game, went did all the dungeons, got gold medals in every one of the dungeons to attune to the raid at the time. It required gold at the time. We got to the raid, we went and destroyed the raid in a single day and then quit the game. Most people quit the game. I stayed in the game, even though our guild disappeared. I went and did PvP. I broke the shit out of PvP because I was a Chua spellslinger, and I found that the PvP runes were completely imbalanced. And what they had was there was a cone that you could cast as a Chua spellslinger that went off every 0.25 seconds. So it was 4 times a second, and it would hit for the next 4 seconds. So it was 16 hits. It's really nasty. And the runes made it so that every enemy that you hit, it did an AoE off of the enemy that you hit. And there was no cooldown on this. So what I do is I do a double roll up to the enemy team as they left their base, and I just go, and everyone would die because it would AoE off of every single person, and we just win the match. I just do it over and over and over again. So I got the highest rank in PvP that was attainable, and then I just kept going. So the highest amount you needed for items was like 2,600 or 3,300, and I had like 6,000 rating. And I just didn't stop. And I just destroyed the out of the game. And I ran out of content. I destroyed everything. I tried to beat every quest before the game like servers went down. But I think the biggest problem with WildStar in and of itself is it didn't force people to stay in the content long enough. And I know that may seem weird. There was no attachment to the world because it was too easy to reach max level. So people would just get into one zone, they'd do a couple of quests, and they'd be at endgame. And it just, there were whole areas of WildStar you just didn't even need to go to. There was no reason to, because in your first like zone and a half, you were max level. It's like they took modern WoW progression and put it in vanilla WoW. It just didn't work. It didn't work at all. So people weren't attached to the environment, they weren't attached to the story, and they just didn't care. I never even got to do the 40-man versus 40-man PvP because we could never find anyone to team against because there weren't enough people. So it just killed it. And I think if they had released it as a beta and learned from those mistakes and then kind of retuned things to be slower, it would have been better. And I think they tried to get more people into endgame content by making it so that the dungeons required only silver medals. But when they did that, no one cared anymore at all. It wasn't the problem of the medals, it was the raid was too easy. So you had this problem where like the dungeons were insanely hard to attune to. They were really difficult and everyone had to attune to do the raid. And then we get to the raid and the raid was just, it was so simple. It was like baby mechanics by comparison. It was really weird. It was really weird. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I have no clue.